Alright, Shalom. Before I start, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, B'Hashem Rakak Kodash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all the elect Akim, Wak Wathium, learning and teaching in truth and sincerity. Alright, and this is going to be another video, through the Spirit, dealing with the situation that happened yesterday, literally through the Spirit. And it's funny because yesterday, for whatever reason, the Spirit hopped on me to look up the statistic abortions while I was at work, and after, what was it, Roe versus, wait, let me look it up, was it Roe versus Wade? Yeah, so the Roe versus Wade court case of 1973, since then, abortions have been going out in America, all right, in all of America, according to the statistics, when you look them up, as they say, which they could be full of shit, but, there's been 50 million abortions since 1973, and 21 million of those have occurred in the so-called African-American community alone, all right, so it's not adding up the Latinos, not adding up the Native Americans, all right, so we make up the overwhelming majority of those abortions. Now, I was looking this information up. I forget why. Basically, it's just good to know things so that if you get into an argument, get into a debate, the facts. All right. So I just wanted to have that fact sealed in my head, so I just looked it up. I looked this up probably sometime around 10. I'm going to get some scriptures so I can, I'm going to be doing a lot of talking. And later on, when I get off, I go to the gym. As I'm coming into the locker room, I bullshit you not, I see a Jake and an Edomite, and they're talking about abortions. I didn't go in there and say none to nobody. They're talking about abortions. And the Edomite that was talking quoted the very statistics that I was reading. And he was telling it to the Jake. And the way that the conversation was going, I could tell basically it was hard to explain. But the Edomite was trying to convince Jake, the Israelite, the so-called Negro man, the dark-skinned black man, that there is a systematic agenda for the extermination of his people. But the black man himself didn't want to hear it. He was basically telling the Edomite, "Nah, you're crazy. It just is what it is." I'm sitting there looking. I'm like, even this devil is admitting to you what the deal is. And now, here is the main story. Where I'm gonna title this video "Conversation with an Old Bottle." And I'll say, for an old bottle, I don't know the dude personally, but at least in his action towards me, he didn't disrespect me. He wasn't too bad. So I'm standing there, I'm agreeing my head, I'm shaking my head on certain things, I'm shaking my head on other things, and he took notice. And so the old dude, he started throwing out the fact that, this is a strategic plan. And then he went to say the name, and I said the name of the lady before he could even get it out of his mouth, Margaret Sanger, all right, one of the main ladies behind that. And he looked me in my face, and that dude's eyes got so huge, so basically he could tell that I wasn't just another idiot off the block. And so the Edomite saw that there was the Edomite saw that we were about to get into real deep conversation. So he was like, what, I don't want to stir anything up, I'm gonna leave. And he basically literally said those words, and he left, and that other Jake left. So me and this old head had a conversation, all right. And to sum it up, I want to start with this scripture, because this old head, basically, he had one of everything. He knew that we were the Israelites, but he also subscribed to the Moors. He also subscribed to the black woman is God. He also subscribed to, Israel is actually a part of Africa. It's just northern Africa, because the Middle East and Africa aren't separated. He also subscribed to Pangea and 100 million years ago. And I think I already said the black woman is God. He also subscribed to the reptilians, believe it or not. He said that the snake in Genesis, that Edomites, they actually have the snake DNA inside of them. So they actually are reptilian, just crazy shit. But I want to get this scripture out of the book of Acts right here. All right. This is Acts 17:21. It says, "For all the Athenians and strangers which were there spent their time in nothing else, but either to tell or to hear some new thing. They see that in all things ye are too superstitious." And that Jake, he was too superstitious. He had his hand in too many cookie jars. But, we weren't disrespecting each other. We were just going back and forth on the things that we knew. And he was so amazed in the fact that a younger man, knowing the stuff that I know, because one of the things we're talking about, the younger generation is through. You look at the majority of Jake, and they're young idiots, young punk dummies. All they doing is chasing big booty and wannabe rappers. And he said, he acknowledged the scripture in Revelation, was that chapter 12, that this devil was about to come down with a short time. So he says, he even said, hey, not all of our people is going to make it. He didn't say the 2/3, but he basically said the fact that the majority of them, they're asleep and they're not conscious, so they're just going to have to die, even our close loved ones and friends. All right, and one of the other things he was mentioning was the ancestors. He had a grasp of reincarnation. Hey, this is how we are the people of the scriptures. This right here in this Acts, you had Jake, they was just sitting around, who Apollos, Hades, what's some other gods in that time period, Diana, just all that stuff. They was dipping their hands in the cookie jar, which this Jake was, but for the little bit of stuff of the truth that he did know, he was, hey, he was all right with it, I'll say. I was mentioning books to him, the Negro Question Part 4, because we got into talking about how the Israelites were the original royalty of Europe. He had that blew his head that I knew that. He was like, and he said, whoever you hang around, you and your friends, he said the ancestors are with y'all. He said you and whoever you, because I told him, I was like, this all I do is read and study. I don't really be fucking around out here, me and the brothers, we don't be out here fucking around. This is all we really do. And he said the ancestors are with y'all. All right. One of the things that he said also, because and this, keep in mind, this dude's 70 years old. I forgot to say, but this dude was 70 years old, y'all. He was in excellent shape. I looked at him. I assumed he was in his mid 50s because he had some gray on him. I wouldn't have assumed he was 70 years old. He still had a good build about him. He was still exercising. We're in the locker room of LA Fitness. This dude had a good build about him for an old man. So you could tell he cared about his health. He had said he had and I'm gonna get this scripture though. Now one thing that he said, which is why he has his hand in so many cookie jars. So, I'm just basically, I just wanted to get this on tape. Yesterday, the spirit, man, the way that it works, man, you don't even have to go looking for video ideas. The spirit is slapping you with all this truth and information. And if you ignore it, then that's on you. All right, I'm gonna get that one scripture in Joel. Basically, the whole point of this video, everybody knows we're getting closer to the end, y'all. Everybody knows it and can feel it in their spirit, to the point to where even old heads, and he called himself an old head, and he called these other older people old heads. He said the old heads, our generation, we failed y'all. He said we were supposed to prepare y'all for these devils. We were supposed to let y'all know what the game was. He said we failed y'all. All right, but Ecclesiastes 12:12. Because one thing that he said also, he said that he has over 2,000 books in his house. All right, which when you got 2,000 books in your house, you're going to be bugged out to a degree. All right, Ecclesiastes 12:12. It says, and further, by these, my son, be admonished of making many books. There is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. All right, so getting into all those other books can get you into trouble. The main book you need to read and understand is the scriptures. And he said that, out of his own mouth, because, a lot of Jake, when they become conscious, they steer away from the Bible. But he said, you better be reading them scriptures. He said he said them scriptures is where it's at too. And I was like, yep. I was like, that's what I mainly read. We were just going back and forth on many different things. Even the fact that we're not actually black, that it's a label that Esau put upon us. And there was other people in the gym, y'all, in the locker room. So people were looking at us. People was walking around us, and he had it, and he was raising his voice. He wasn't whispering. You know how old people is. Old people talk so you can hear them from down the street. If you was outside of the locker room, probably standing by the door, you probably would have heard us a little bit. And it was, at first, I was kind of uncomfortable, and I was like, man, you know what? I'm like, you know what? Everybody listening to us right now, they're gonna forget what we're saying in 10 seconds. So fuck these people. We're about to swim in this dialogue of what's going on in this world, so I started enjoying it. I forget his name. I'm pretty sure I'll see him in a couple days. Next day I go back up there, but hey, y'all, we're getting closer. We're getting so close to the end now. Even old folk is starting to see it. All right, let me get this in Joel. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is putting his spirit down here in this world, where it's getting close. And for an old bottle, he was mixed with many different assortments of liquors and alcohols and wines, and nigga has some Moussant in there, has some Henny Dog, has some Stella Rose, has some Yellowfoot, or is it Yellowtail? All right, he had all types of things in there, but the one thing that he did have a little bit of, he had some of the truth in there, and that was the main thing that was keeping him from being too far off the deep end. He was a little bit off the deep end. He started talking about reptiles. I was like, oh my, but hey, this is Joel. Let me see. This is Joel. Let's see. Salakia, y'all. Go to 3. Yup, Joel 2 and 28, Salakia. It says, and it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, your old men shall dream dreams, your young men shall see visions. And that's what we're experiencing now. The closer we get to the end, hell, the majority of people that see UFOs are random people in the world, which are the chariots, so-called UFOs, UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon. Hey, we're not the only ones seeing it. It's just that, Lord willing, we are the ones that are going to receive the salvation because we made our lives a living sacrifice, But I just wanted to get this conversation that I had with this man down to video. Hopefully it does some sort of edification. Hey, basically, if Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is going to put you in spiritual situations on a day-to-day basis, even a day that you think is you just going to chill, the Lord is going to put you in the spirit, all right, and we have to acknowledge it and flow with it and rock with it. Hey, one of the another thing that he said, because instead of saying our forefathers, he was saying ancestors. This is what I meant to say a minute ago, I forgot. But basically, I guess at some point he's told me he was talking with a woman and he was frustrated, and he was like, damn, why didn't the forefathers before us teach us anything? Why didn't our ancestors get us ready for this devil so we could get the next generation ready? Why didn't these mother effers let us know? And the lady said to him, in the way that he said it to me, I can almost imagine how she said it to him. She said, the lady looked at him, she said, you are your ancestors. She said, the ancestors are back here as you. So what? He had an understanding on reincarnation. Why? Because that is real, y'all. So what's going on with these churches? What's going on with many other Israelites who claim to know that they're Israelites, who claim to be in this truth, who have yet to accept the fact of reincarnation, who have yet to accept the fact that just many different things that me and this guy were talking about. You have Jake that are claiming to be Israelites, and he knew he was an Israelite, but he probably wasn't a full-fledged, that wasn't the only thing he subscribed to, but many things he understood, certain of you niggas in the world is grasping at. So here it is, he understands that, through abortions, the American medical system has been doing us, the Israelites, wrong and killing us and getting over on us. But guys like Yohana, nigga, you gonna tell your congregation to go ahead and take it? A nigga in the world knows not to trust the government in terms of your physical body, how they've been getting over on our people. All right? Hey, that one scripture, man, a law unto themselves. Hey, you got certain Jake out here, man. You got certain Jake out here. You got certain people out here that is in the world, and they are more stand-up people than certain fools that claim to know that they're Israelites. The only difference is that they just don't know that they're Israelite. I'm gonna get one more, and I'll end it right here, y'all. Hey, and the fact that because the main thing we kept bouncing between was dealing with the Israelites. I'm just going to show you this work has been paying off. Matthew 24:14. It says, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. All right, and the end is coming. Hey, because this word has been preached now to even a random old 70-year-old Jake. Even he know a little bit of the word. He's still bugged out on all that other stuff. And he was so excited to, this ain't no glorification of myself. Everything that I learned through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, by way of our elders and apostles here in Great Millstone and the brothers over me, that have been helping build me up. But he was so amazed to see a younger, one of his own people, still holding the torch. All right, he said something to those effects. He basically the fact that the torch is being passed down, to the so-called younger generation, because the older generation fell. You know, hey, the only elders that's still holding it down is our apostles and elders. You know, everybody, the rest of these people is through. You know, so him, that conversation, you know, basically he was telling me it gave him hope. You know, and like I told him, I said, look, we made it through. I basically told him these motherfuckers didn't exterminate us yet. You know, we didn't took all their best punches. I told him we gonna make it through this. I told him not all of us gonna make it through this, but we gonna make it through this. You know, dealing with the elect. And he was like, "You right." You know, and he was happy. That gave him just talking with him. You know, he kept shaking my hand. That made him happy. You know, and that's what this word is about, getting this truth out. Hey, we getting close to the end. You know, so it's going. Hey, if he wakes up, you know, we'll see. But hey, man, this word is no joke. And hey, this started, I was just Googling some information yesterday, and it turned into a whole, we was sitting there talking for a good minute. You know, I got home late because I had to start my workout late because we was talking for a minute, you know. But that's about it for this video. I just wanted to get this down. You know, I had to have that conversation with an old wine bottle. You know, he wasn't too bad. He had holes in him, you know, but he was holding it together. All right. So with that, I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakakorash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, peace, blessings, and salutations to all the elect Akim. Walk, walking, learning, teaching, truth, and sincerity. And I'm gonna say shalom.